Hi guys, good evening. I am back again, yet again today. I am just in a mood to follow one of the videos that I made about, small town in US. My experience as a big city girl from Ukraine. I'm from Kiev, Ukraine, and I have been in US for over a decade. And I was thinking to make a video about differences between living in a small town in Ukraine and small town in US. The point of this video is well, actually, to give you an idea, but also, hey John, but also to share, well, to give you a little hint how you can convince your Ukrainian girlfriend or fiance, shall I say, that you that American small cities are not so bad. So, hi everyone. Back in time when my story had began, my husband at the time, he told me, "Oh my gosh, you're gonna hate Michigan." But then, we start talking about this, and he told me, I live in a small town, but it does have some. You guys are silly. Let's stay on the topic, okay? And then we'll laugh a little bit. So he said, it's a small town, but there are definitely, it's about 20 minutes away from the capital. It's about 30 minutes away, from Michigan State. There are traffic only in a time of, only in a rush time, which is 5 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock, right? 5 o'clock traffic. Why I'm sitting here? I'm gonna go outside. So, just a minute, guys. Yeah. So, there are definitely things about, for example, I'm gonna show it to you. So let's say some positive things. This is really pretty. There is definitely some positive things about small town US versus small town Ukraine, small town Russia. First of all, it's a lot more civilized. What do I mean by this? It's a lot more civilized. What I mean by it's a lot more civilized is that first 2 years I did not have a vehicle because of a document process, not because I couldn't have it, but the state required the federal ID, which I didn't have ready. It was processed in my documents. It's a long story. So being in a small town like this, I live downtown. Even though it's a small town, it has a post office, it has pharmacy, it has a grocery store, just different convenience stores. And what is cool about this is, you always have electricity, everything is taken care of. I might have so the main street is right behind me. It's I'm on the back side of a main street. Some maybe in summer I'll walk around. I'll show you the ice cream shops. Just like a regular little American town. But many things are better in small town US than small town. I would never live in a small town Ukraine. I just would not care for it because in Ukraine, everything is very centralized. I know things are getting a little bit better, but when I travel to a small town in Ukraine, I can't wait to go back to civilization. Sometimes you don't have water, sometimes you don't have electricity. The stores sometimes can have bad smell. So they have a lot more older unfinished buildings. Also, people are often a little bit more desperate in the smaller towns, and there could be not crime when you killing somebody with a gun, but it's sometimes not safe to go around because guys are smoking something or drinking or using drugs. I'm not saying this about every small town in Ukraine, okay, but there are definitely a sense of disparities. There is definitely things in a small town that I would not live there. And infrastructure is bad. Like if you want to have something, yes, exactly, exactly. John is saying that he saw some pictures of small towns in Russia and they look abandoned. They kind of look like some parts of Detroit. You know, it's like it's scary. Now, it would be safe to say that of course it's not all the towns in Russia and Ukraine. It's just, jeez, it it's just I don't always wanna walk with my yeah. I don't always wanna walk because people look at me. You know, I'm an FBI agent. Almost, I know a lot of people, but they don't really know what I do, and I don't want them to get in my camera. So I'm risking my life to record this video, guys. You realize that? KGB, yes, I am a KGB. So yeah, let me read what John is saying. I saw pictures of small town in Russia, and many look almost like abandoned towns, and still had outhouses, no sidewalks, no parks, either. Maybe not all this way. Yeah. So once again, we have a lot of medium-sized towns. You know what I mean by medium? So they are not tiny small, but the smaller the town is, the more desperate or devastating it could be. This is why when you say for the first time that you live in a small town, a lot of times Russian or Ukrainian women would presume the worst. She would say, oh my god, he's going to take me in this hole in the wall, or it's going to be dangerous, or is there going to be drunk people walking around. But I mean, look at this. I mean, it's really, really peaceful. And if I want to have, we actually have a couple places to go out to. We have one place here that is really special and people travel to come. It's like an old English place that is very, very special. But overall, I need to drive about 20-30 minutes and I'm somewhere, I'm somewhere else. Now, big European cities, and I could not understand uh, some American people what they meant when they would say, "Oh, big European cities are a lot better than American big cities." I'm like, how that can be different? Now I know what they mean. They are a lot more. Big European cities are a lot cozier. Big European cities. Yeah, I know it's hard to explain. I know that. Big European cities are uh, a lot cozier and they are a lot better than big American cities. I have to agree. I could not understand that either. I was like, how a small city can be better than a big city? There is no way. But I know that there is a way. And so there is definitely a way. And you should understand that so you can undermine her. Let's see. Joseph. Okay, guys, I'm gonna turn the camera so I can read better. Hi, everybody. Hey, hey, hey. Yes, big European cities are great. So you can tell her the problems that urban cities has. The like for example, my city. What I like about this town is that I'm not worrying about safety issues. Like I can literally go out walking at 12 a.m. if I want to, and I've done that before. You know, I can go out and do stuff. I just feel safe here. It has been no break-ins for like last 20 years. At the same time, I'm not trying to idolize it. There is a lot of issues also. Of course, I would like to be closer to my Russian friends and don't have to drive to go to socialize, but I would rather do that than worrying about the safety of myself or my family. You know what I mean? So compare, small town U.S. definitely wins over small town in Ukraine. Just trust me. Small town in US definitely wins over small town in Ukraine or Russia because once again, the reason why small towns are so poor is because the government does not, there is no money basically in town. there is no money in a hey guys, I'm still here. There is no money in small towns, so government does not really sponsor them, and there are no jobs. Jobs are very low overall, unless it's a resort town. So when there is a season, people is doing better. So it's yeah, it's abandoned. And this is the reason why Ukrainian women or Russian women are freaking out when you tell them that you have 5,000 people in your town. They think that, oh my gosh, it's gonna be drugs, and stuff like this. But in US, it's the other way around. The small communities are very take care of everything. Small communities are usually, there is not a everything is clean, everything is just taken care of, decorated. I mean, I have to say, city where I live, they taken a great care of everything. And as I said, I'm not trying to say that, oh, I'm gonna live here forever, or this is the best. It's not the best. There are definitely more ways to do things, but well, university town would be East Lansing, which is about 40 minutes from me. But honestly, I like cities near East Lansing because when students are there, it's a bloody nightmare. They have students from all over the world, and they're driving. It's like you always feel when the students are in town. It's literally a nightmare. So anyway, I'm just giving you guys an idea that, you know, we have totally different mentality. All Russian and Ukrainian people always try to live near the big city, a big community and stuff like that. All people, or most people in Russia and Ukraine are, they never would like willingly think, oh, I'm just gonna move to a small town, because we have a bad idea of a small town. Those immigrant well, they're not even immigrants. They're not necessarily immigrants. They just come to. I'm gonna be swinging. Hey, how many bloggers are swinging as it doing their blog? So yeah, geese. They're not. They're foreigners. They just have visas. They're not necessarily immigrants. And I'm not against foreigners. I'm a foreigner myself. But the problem is they driving is like, I literally, it's giving me, as my son would say, it's giving me the willies, how you say it. So guys, as I'm swinging here, do you have any questions? This is fun. Childhood never ends if you do it right. I can't really go full speed because of you guys. But yeah, you have to find a way to let you know that it's not that bad. Let you know the downsides honestly and the benefits. For me, what I don't like now when I come to Ukraine is that it's so loud, and like people at night, I love to have my peace, and a lot of times it's very, very loud and noisy, and people do not do personal borders. You know that, right? People just do what's convenient for them. They don't consider your personal space. That would be the word. So anyway, that's just I want to go for I want to go do a few things. I can actually walk and run some errands. Yes. Um, and I can walk everywhere. So if you're in a small town, but maybe you live downtown, it's really nice because if your car, if my car breaks down or something happens, or I don't have a car, I can just walk. Yeah. Are you talking, John? Are you talking about what, Ukraine or US? The grocery stores are okay, but I prefer to go to different areas to buy groceries. Here in my small town, if I do anything, I'm always out of town. If I see a friend, if I go shopping, unless I want to, like if I really really want to stay in town, I'll stay in town. But I prefer go somewhere because I get better variety, better quality. But if that option would be cut off, I guess I could. I mean, I could go and shop here, and sometimes I do. I mean, it depends. But when I have time off, I'm out. That's why I have a car. Joseph, I have like 900 videos, so it's yours the ones that needs to catch up, not me. Yes, yeah. In Ukraine, there are markets are everywhere for the food. They are great. Yeah. So anyway, I think I gave you an idea of how this all works. Yeah, I love Ukrainian food. Don't get me started. I hope you guys get an idea how this all works. Just sharing with you on that. And you see, they're gonna be girls and ladies. Uh, they're gonna be girls and ladies that are easily adjustable, and they might be girls that are not. The girls that you see are with plastic surgeries and all this fancy schmancy stuff. They're not gonna be looking forward living in a small town, and be a wife of a plumber. I'm just telling you this. A lot of people watching my videos and then they engage with ladies online that are even just by their interest is so out of their league or just out of a different league, and they ignore all the details I say, and they engage in a long term and long time relationships, and then and then 3, 4, 5 years later, well, maybe 2, 3, 4 years later, they realize, oh, this is not a match. It's really difficult to sometimes apply the knowledge. Even if you study the knowledge, it's really difficult to apply. So if you guys have doubts, if you need some help, um, don't be shy to reach out. Yes, I do charge for my time, but you can ask some of I had actually recorded a few things, but you can ask some of my clients who try to avoid talking to me, and they had a concern. I'm not saying you have to talk to me. No, you don't. But sometimes when you have a concern and you just like, it's gonna be alright, and you cannot apply. It's like if I watch a tutorial of something, it doesn't mean that I can go home and make the dish exactly like in the tutorial. Or if I watch a tutorial how to replace car's engine, my vehicle's engine, it doesn't mean that I'll be able to replace my vehicle engine by myself. So I'm just giving you an idea. Unfortunately, there is so much scamming going on, and women online, they know your weak spots, and they say, "Oh yeah, your age don't matter. Oh, your small town don't matter. Your looks don't matter," and So I'm just sharing this with you. Joseph, thank you for for the compliments. Things always work my way. As I told you in my videos, when you do something, it always works. Sometimes it doesn't work the way you want it, but that's a different subject. Oh, okay? So what you consider a small town? You see, in Ukraine we consider small town is like 200,000 or 300,000 or even 500,000. It's a small town, because you have to remember Ukraine is a part, or used to be a part of Soviet Union, which was a humongous countries. So our sizing of the cities remain the same. from where it was a huge, humongous empire. I think it was probably bigger than US with all the republics and everybody. It was a huge monster. So we don't even, if you have 5,000 people somewhere, it is a village probably without light and gas and electricity. So in Ukraine, small town, it could be 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. In US, if you have that much, it's usually pretty good town. It's actually not too big, but it's not too small. I feel like in US, if it's 300,000, 500,000. I think in Lansing here, where I live, it's about 500,000. So it's kind of decent, but it's not too big. So it's not too bad. But honestly, guys, with all my love for US, I appreciate a lot of things about US. Uh, Russian and Ukrainian, or I shall I say, just even in general, European towns are, European big and medium-sized towns are so much better. And I'm saying this with all my life, my love for United States. There is just that cozy feeling to it. I think because it was built earlier and because it doesn't have as many skyscrapers and just the atmosphere. But then again, there are a lot of beautiful things in US that I hadn't even seen. For example, I love Orlando. I love just I love many towns in Florida. I've been to now quite a few places in Florida. I love Florida. I love Texas, but still, it's just different. If you are into European kind of thing, Ukraine is nice and big town, medium-sized town, and also of course, you can travel to Russia. There are beautiful St. Petersburg and Moscow and many other. Right now, we have an issue with our travels. Okay, guys, I'm gonna change my camera because people are looking at me. Right now, we obviously, running into a huge issue with travels because of this whole coronavirus disaster. But it's gonna be over at some point, right? Yeah. So there is no travel currently to European Union from United States, as you probably all know. But I think because the measures are so extreme, uh, it should it should help to stop the spread. We sure hoping so, right? So anyway, anyway, I think I gave you an idea. So if I would be facing choice, if I would be facing the choice, small town Ukraine or small town US, definitely would choose small town US because of civilization, because of everything is here. You have your electricity, your gas, your light, your water, and it's clean, it's taken care of, it's usually safe. And I needed post office because I started the business, so I could just walk to my post office. I mean, it just works like a clock. Yes, it can be a little bit boring. Yes, you need a car to get out. Yes, you might not have look at these beautiful trees. I don't know if you can see, they're so beautiful, especially when snow falls on them. Yes, you might not have the most sophisticated or too many people you can relate to, but you can actually, it depends, where your small town is. There are many small towns, even around Michigan, that are in a slightly different areas that has a lot more diversity. So look at this. I don't know if you can see. It's kind of dark, but they're so beautiful. It's a big pine trees. I don't know how they're called. Anyway, guys, I got to go do some errands. Thank you for watching. I hope I answered, some of your questions. And as usually, from Michigan's Love, I hope I gave you an idea. And by the way, you notice I'm walking. Get out there and take a walk. All right? Walking is good for you, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thank you, guys. I will see you soon.